I recently posted a video about how new Excel users often ignore tables because they don't know they exist. Afterwards, a viewer asked how I created the summary panel shown in the video. In this tutorial, I'll show you exactly how it works using a drop-down list, SUMIF and AVERAGEIF functions. Let's jump straight in.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another Microsoft 365 tutorial, and today we're looking at Excel again. So I'm going to add this little video just to show anybody that's not sure how you can do this, so that anybody who would like to copy this example will then know. So I've got the practice file open here. I'm on the raw data sheet, and this is the data that we started with. At the moment this isn't a table. As you can see, if I click in any cell in the data, there is no table design ribbon. So the first thing we did was to create a table from this, and once we had a table, I've got two additional columns from the original data. I've got a passenger number column and I've got a revenue column. And in the original tutorial, I had a little sample panel over here, which was going to be used as a summary. Now, there are lots of ways that you can do this. This is only one example, but I'm going to recreate that example for you now. So the first thing I'm going to do is click at the top here. I'm going to type in summary. And then the first thing we want to know is what's the country, because the country is going to be used as the criteria. Okay, so I'm going to type in country. And then we've got the two calculations. So the first is the average length of time that people stay. So I'm going to add another title in here. I'll just call this average duration. And then we'll leave another blank cell for that. And then underneath we want the sum of the revenue. So I'll just put revenue and leave another blank cell under there. So the first thing we need to do is to put the country name. And obviously we've got a list of countries here in column A. So I'll show you again a quick way of doing this. Just click at the top of column A, use my favorite keyboard shortcut, Shift, Control and the down arrow. That'll take me down to the bottom of the column and select all the contents. I'll Control and C to copy that, and then I'll go back up to the top, Control and backspace, and I'm going to paste that over here. I'll put it over here in column P, and as you can see, we've now got all the data. Now the next thing I want to do is to go up to the Data tab and then remove duplicates. So that's this button here, remove duplicates. It's highlighted the name of the column for me, Italy, and I'll say OK to that. And it's telling me that 341 duplicates were found and removed, and it's left me with 25 unique values. OK, great. Now, in fact, I think there's a couple of anomalies in here which we'll iron out in just a moment. So back to my little summary table here, I'm going to click in the cell for the criteria. And I'm going to go up to the Data tab again, and this time I'm going to use data validation. So I'll click in the little box here, data validation, and this time instead of any value, I want this to include a list. Excel wants to know where the list is placed, so I'll click in the box, move that dialog box out of the way, and then I'll just select the list and say OK. And now you'll see a little drop down button appear at the side, and once I've done that, I can now select the country from the drop down list. Okay, so that's that bit done. Now I don't need to see this list, so the next thing I'm going to do is just hide column P. I'll just select it, right click and hide. There we are. So no evidence of that, except that we now go from O straight to Q. So the calculations. So the first calculation, the average duration, I want to use an AVERAGEIF function for this. Okay, so I'm going to click in the formula bar and I'm going to choose AVERAGEIF. I'll just start typing. We've only got one criteria, so we only need one F, not ifs. So I've got AVERAGEIF, and then you can see the tooltip underneath. It tells you what we're looking for here. So it's got average, the range, the criteria, and then the average range. Okay, so the range that we're looking at is going to be the country. So the first thing I want to do is put in the country field. I'm going to select the cells exactly as we did before, and then Control and backspace to take us back up to the top. So now you can see table 1 country. I put in a comma. And now I want to put in the criteria. Okay, so the criteria is going to be whatever is contained in this cell here, the country cell, L3, another comma, and now the average range is going to be the nights field. Okay, so once again, I'll click at the top, Shift, Control, and the down arrow, and then Control and backspace to go back up to the top, close the round bracket and hit enter. And that now gives me an error message because it's trying to divide by 0. If I select a country here, let's just take the first one in the list, which is Andorra. As soon as we've got a country for it to search, then it will give us the correct result, 8.91. It will do the same for revenue, but this time I'm going to use a SUMIF. Again, I'm going to click in the formula bar, type in an equal sign, and then start typing sum. And SUMIF is the one we want. Again, it's the same as before, so the range is still going to be the country. Again, I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut to populate that field, table country, comma, and again, the cell is going to be the cell that contains the name of the country, L3, another comma, and now the sum range, and the sum range is going to be the revenue field, which is in column I. Close the round bracket and hit enter. And now if we have a look at that little summary table, there we go. Now I'm going to format these cells. I'll make that a title style. And then I want to put little boxes around these. And there we go. So there is my summary table now with our country and the data validation. And now we can see that for Andorra, it's 8.91 days average duration, and the revenue totals 55644. In fact, what I'm going to do with that is make it a comma style so that we have the thousand separator comma. So that's 55,644. Okay, so as easy as that. And of course, the big advantage of this is that we can now change the name of the country. So if we wanted to see what Barbados was, how long do people stay in Barbados? 13 days. And look at the revenue, 86,000. We can do all kinds of things with this. I'm going to look at Portugal next. Let's have a look. 816, but look at the revenue, 130,000, obviously a very popular destination. So there we are, folks. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for news of my latest videos. There's a discount coupon link to my Udemy course in the description. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.